Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Harvey here with Success with Dynamic Duo and my billionaire sister from another mister, Julia Patterson. How are you today, Julia?
I'm doing great, Sean. It's nice and sunny here today, and I love the fact that we're all three Albertans here. It's just awesome.
Awesome. We don't have a snowstorm today. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unfortunately, guys, in our province, we get snow sooner than the rest. Last Monday, we had a boatload of snow. It snowed all the way from Edmonton to Calgary and back. But good news is it's gone, and it's probably plus 22 degrees Celsius, which is about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can't complain. We're going to have some serious time with you guys today. I would encourage you to turn off your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, and turn all those distractions off. Turn your cell phone on airplane mode so you don't have any distractions. Pay attention, grab a pen. You're in for a big ride. Fasten your seatbelts. I'm sure that we're going to have some serious value provided for you today again, as that's what we love to do. Take it away, Julia.
Thanks, Sean. We have a really special guest today. He's actually living in Calgary. He's been here about 15 years, but he's originally from the UK, as you'll hear yourself. So Kay moved here about 15 years and decided to pursue a career as an online entrepreneur after 2 years as a financial analyst for the Keystone Pipeline. Kay has built his brand and sales network through attraction marketing, and he believes success comes from being authentic as well as strategic. Now, Kay, I know that you've reached some pretty high levels of success in what you're doing, and I think everybody's probably heard of the Keystone Pipeline, so we have a little bit of background on that one as well. But anyway, so because we haven't actually chatted too much yet, and if you wouldn't mind sharing your story, I know you've probably went through just a couple things in your life. One would probably your transition just to come to Canada for sure. And having built the success that you have built so far, I know that you've worked on yourself. That's a personal growth thing. We know that there's always something there. So if you wouldn't mind sharing your story, any things along the way that have kind of helped keep you going and what you do on a daily basis for motivation and inspiration, if you could share all that kind of stuff with us, that'd be awesome.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And obviously, thanks for having me on, Sean and Julia. Really, really appreciate it. But yeah, so I'll give you a little bit on my background and those things that you mentioned. I think those are really, really important things to hit on, because as success in any industry, whether it's an entrepreneur, whether it's in a job or any single path, it does require constant motivation, personal development and things like that. So I'll give you a bit about me. And if you have any questions in the meantime, chuck them in. But yeah, I did move to Calgary about 15 years ago, moved here with my family, started going to university. That's what I did at the time. Went to university. I got 2 degrees. I got a degree in actuarial science and a degree in statistics. And, I was following the traditional path, right? I saw, wow, I could become an actuary, 250 grand a year. I started rubbing my palms. My eyes went all big. And I thought, you know what, this is for me. As I went along university, I kind of realized the path didn't intrigue me. It didn't excite me anymore. And I was just finishing it just for the sake of finishing it. And around that time during university, I got involved in network marketing. So I started building that as well. However, being a 21-year-old student in debt up to your eyebrows and having really no influence didn't really make for a successful network marketing career. So I continued on. I got through university, got my 2 degrees. And then I found myself, that was when the economy was in a bit of a dip for a little bit. And then I found myself, after a year of not having a job, I landed a job at TransCanada, working on the Keystone Pipeline. Did that for just under 2 years, I think about 22 months, pretty much to the day. And I was building my business in the background. So I was working a full-time job, building my business in the background. And, the job was kind of demanding, so was the business. So yeah, I did have to plug into, personal development, motivation every day. So many different things I had to do to just keep my mind on track. Really, the mindset was the key thing, because as I'm sure you can imagine, when you are in a job and trying to build a business, there's 2 different forces pulling at you. There's the one where, people are, in the job mentality, nothing wrong with that, but it's a very different mindset to building something on your own. where nobody tells you what to do. Nobody tells you what time to start. Nobody tells you when to take a break. You are your own boss. So it really took a high level of discipline to do that. I'll fast forward a bit, and then I had left my job in 2014, April. Been building my business online ever since. I have faced a lot of roadblocks and struggles along the way. Some being my dad having major heart attacks. Some being my income streams. They're having highs, then having real big dips. It's all a test of character, right? It's all a test of character. And I think that's really what separates the successful from the people who maybe struggle or don't make it right away, is, being able to persevere through that. And just so all of the viewers know, because I know not everybody's familiar with me, I did struggle in my business before having this success. I did struggle for my first 6 years. First 6 years were very tough, made next to no money. But after that, everything just kind of took a 180 and shot up. It's really about having that sticking power. So those are just a few of the things. I know I've kind of summed it up very briefly there, but if there's anything you want me to elaborate on, let me know.
Well, it sounds like you've had quite the path, and I think a lot of people don't realize how tough it can be, and people give up way too soon. It's sort of like, I don't know if you've ever seen that graphic where the diamond miner is going through, and he's like this far from the diamonds, and he just walks away, right? And so many people think because it's the internet, it's such an instant gratification society that if you don't have success in 6 months or a year, they walk away and say, oh, it doesn't work, and I'm never going to try that again. And then they go back to their 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week, sometimes just to hold your job, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, I mean, we say that, but people don't get it until they actually live through it, right? Would you agree with that, Sean?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, that stick to itness. And 3 feet from gold is the one you're referring to, Julia. That's my favorite picture of all times, is, it's 3 feet from gold, the diamonds, and they turn away. People don't realize that if there's not a door there for you to open, go make a door. Somebody said, one of my good mentors, I attended an event a while back, and he says, you know what? He said, no. If the opportunity, the opportunity is on the other side of the door. No, if there's no door there, make a door. Mm-hmm. And people don't have that resourcefulness to make that door or make that window. And I mean, let's be real. If our house is burning and all the windows, we don't have windows, it's all cement, you're gonna find a freaking way to get the heck out of that house. You're going to do whatever you have to do to get out of there. This is no different. I mean, when we have jobs that we hate, and most people do, that's the job satisfaction survey is 85% keyword hate, HATE, and they still go to it. They still got that death grip on their cup of coffee, driving to work on Monday morning, dreading it. The Deerfoot in Calgary is a prime example. It's like, oh my God, it's bumper to freaking bumper. It's worse than Vancouver ever is, and it's supposed to be 100 kilometers an hour. It just blows my mind. And this scenario, guys, for the viewers watching, is you have to stick to it. You have to give your life to it as much as you give to your job. And when I say that with love. I said, you know what? If you're willing to break, your wife's heart or your little girl's heart for working that extra overtime shift, you seriously need to take a look at that and go, you know what? If I'm willing to do this for my boss, why not change the roles and do that for my family in my business and go and create a lifestyle for yourself? And that stick-to-itness is so critical that people are going to doubt you. People are going to hate, but they want to know that you're going to stick through it so that in a couple of years from now, they're going to probably either partner up with you or they're going to be working for you. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely. Okay, would you agree that no matter what level of success you're at, growing and continuing on your personal development path is something that you need to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think absolutely. Personal development needs to be done all the time. It's one of those things, you know, no matter which level you're at, you can always go to a higher level. And you'll find personal development, it all comes from the mindset. Because let's face it, and I'll tell you honestly, knowing some real, you know, really high leaders in online marketing, even traditional entrepreneurship, sometimes the skill set is not that dissimilar. It's just that person has a much stronger mental toughness. They have a much stronger mindset. They maybe have learned some tricks along the way about how to relate to other people. Sometimes the skill level is not that much different. And there are going to be hard days. There's going to be days that you want to quit. There's going to be days that you want to cry. There's going to be days that you just want to throw your computer out of the car window while it's moving down the Deerfoot, right? There's going to be days like that. But what really keeps you going, what really keeps you going is that mindset, is knowing that, you know what, honey, it's not going to be easy all the time. If it were easy, everyone would do it. There's going to be hard days. There's going to be days like today when technology buggers up on us. You've got to embrace that struggle. And like Sean said, people are willing to do it for their bosses sometimes, but not for themselves. And just like you said, Julia, some people can't see past the 6 months. Well, here's the thing. If you're building something for yourself, an asset, a lifelong skill, or something that's going to pay you for the rest of your life, you have to treat it like that. Imagine if somebody took an engineering degree and after 6 months was crying because they are not a certified engineer working and making 6 figures. That'd be absolutely ludicrous, right? Same thing goes for your business, online, offline, wherever it is. You have to put the work in. It's a lot of people think the internet is an easy way out. Let me tell you, when you're working for yourself, having no one to tell you what to do, when to do it, what needs to be done, how to improve, how to grow, which seminars to go to, which mindset audios to plug into, which skills to learn. It's a lot of work, not to scare people away. It's definitely worth it. But just the time management alone and the responsibility and discipline is way harder than what you'll be told to do at a job, for example. So it's really about having that long-term vision. When you have that long-term vision, it becomes really hard not to take action. Where some people will say, I'll take a break today, just doing it as long as I have and the vision I've built up. And I'm sure the two of you will probably agree. It's hard for me now not to take action on a daily basis because I have that vision of who I want to become.
Yeah, I find it's really hard to take a Saturday or Sunday off. I have to do something every day. My husband goes, can't you stay out of your office? Nope. One thing that I came to the realization not too long ago, that every business that's out there started as an idea. And so those people that started that business, whether it's a tiny business or whether it's a huge business, it started as an idea. So those people who started those businesses were entrepreneurs, are entrepreneurs, and the business has just grown. And it's because of what Kay's talking about, you know, the skill set, the mindset, and people who wouldn't give up, who had that purpose, who had that vision and that why. So when you look at your boss, if you're working at a job, just think, if they started that company, they're an entrepreneur, right? They might, you might not see them as that, but it's true, right? Would you guys agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's really interesting when you kind of make that switch in your mind, because if you're an employee right now, I mean, you're paying your bills, you have to, but if you have a vision to be an entrepreneur, then look at what your boss is doing, because if they've built a big business, you might be able to get some clues from them as to what they've gone through and how they think, instead of thinking them as the, you know, the boss, the bad guy, because a lot of people do think of their bosses that way. Switch it around, right? So I don't know.
That's you know, that's like you said, Julia, you plant the seed. We plant kids it starts off at a really young age for most people, most young adults, like it did for us. When we're children, you know, and we're, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, whatever the age is, it doesn't matter. It started back then. And how we lead our kids in their lives is how they're going to act or not act or make a decision on that dream or that thought that they had. And a lot of people, we talk about this all the time, but it starts back then. And us as parents and leaders in our families, we need to encourage our kids that it's okay to be a firefighter if they want to be a firefighter. If they want to, have a lemonade stand, encourage them to sell things. And that will totally ingrain in them that, hey, you know what? It's okay for me to be different. I don't have to go get a job. And my son said to me yesterday, which is like blew me away. He's like, Dad, that online stuff that you do, can I do that? I don't want to get a job. I'm like, what? I'm thinking, that was totally out of left field. I'm like, are you kidding me? He wanted to go drive a truck like I've done. I'm like, no, don't do that. It's not a bad job, but it's very time consuming. There's like 60 to 90 hours a week just to make a little paycheck. I mean, and he asked me, he's asking me all these questions on the ride home yesterday. And he's like, Dad, can I do that? I'm like, sure, why not? I don't know everything. If I don't know everything, I'll help you with the person that knows everything to help you get there. Because there's so many kids that are nowadays doing that, which is like probably shocking most parents as to, well, what about getting a job? Blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing, though. I mean, every job needs to be done, but whether it's done by an employee or by an entrepreneur, it needs to be done, right? So,
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You mentioned that. As far as jobs, like jobs are essential. Obviously, people need to do them. People need to have them. But I think there's always a shift in a different point in life. So, for me, yeah, I had my job during those 22 months, my corporate job. That was my time to put in then. And then now I've exited the workforce. Someone else can come in and take that. And that person may stay there 2 years and become an entrepreneur. That person may stay there 20 years, whatever it is. It's just a perpetual cycle, right? You put in the time while you have to, because most people are not going to start a business and be profitable right out of the gate. It takes months, days, years sometimes to build up. And, we have to put the roof over our head while we do that. And then if somebody chooses to walk away, brilliant. That way they can, maybe open up and create jobs for others. So it's a beautiful thing all around.
True. And what about the thought of, like, I've read quite a bit about subcontracting. Like, if you've read Timothy Ferriss's book, The 4 Hour Work Week,
Mm-hmm.
he talks about how you work yourself out of having to be at that physical job. So it's more of a subcontractor base. So a person has their own business and they may be subcontracting for 2 or 3 different companies, because if one's not enough to provide their income needs, or they want to scale it up or whatever. So, I mean, I think even in that way, it's a major shift for people, because who says you have to have a job and be tied to that one business, right? Like, keep your options open and prove to your boss, okay, I can do this job in 5 hours or 4 hours a day. Boss doesn't need to know that, right? Necessarily, but do it from home, right? And I even know people in my age who have switched around and they're working from home. Some have got their subcontractors, others their boss doesn't want to have the office space for them to work there, so they set them up at home, right? So, I mean, everything is shifting so quickly, and we just have to keep up with it. And a lot of that is the mindset. That's the biggest thing. You guys are nodding and not saying anything.
Well,
I'm gonna share this. When I was working years ago, before I got into the entrepreneurial journey, I was, like many others watching this, living paycheck to paycheck. We still got cash flow issues, guys. Here's the scenario. When you have one stream of income and it's spent before you just get it, what do? You have to stress about the next 11 and a half days until you get paid again. If I didn't have that other source of income, I don't know how the hell I would have got through the next 2 weeks having to buy milk and formula and diapers for a baby. I was a little bit freaked out. Get a $2,500 paycheck, gone. Next thing you know, you got less than $100 for 2 weeks. You're like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
So it was a good thing that I had an open mind to figure that out at the time, because I probably wouldn't be on this journey and I wouldn't be having this conversation with you. So we know what it's like to have cash flow issues. And when you have $2,500, it's pretty decent income. That's $5,000. It's over $50,000 a year take home. That's roughly a $75,000 to $80,000 a year income. It's not a bad income. Sorry, I forgot to mute that.
Shut your phone off, Sean.
I know, my bad. If you only have that source of income, you're left with your pants down. The minimal income in North America is roughly $38,000 a year. And I know people that make a heck of a lot less than that, then they work 2 jobs. So the reason why we're sharing this with you is to be open-minded to, 1, reduce your taxation in that job so you can live more and not as tight. 2, have another source of income so that when you're not working, you still have income coming in. And 3, have a business so that you can control your time and your money. Mm-hmm. 2 are the most critical elements. See, if you're not learning how to earn money while you sleep, you work until you die. And that's where the average population is on track. As an ex-financial advisor, most people were working until they pass away. That's the sad reality. 9 out of 10 families are on track to retire. Never. That's not a plan for me. I want to be financially unreasonably prosperous, like Zig Ziglar says. Some of you want to be unreasonably prosperous. That's me. Why? Because I want to give more money to the helpless, to help other people make a bigger difference in the world, and not give it to the government in form of taxes, because the government wastes money. I'd rather give it to the homeless people, the sick people, the veterans. I mean, we got lots of things that we want to give to. Yeah. What's your take on that, Kay?
Yeah, I think back to both of your points. First, what Julia said about, being able to work yourself out of that job, really key. I always think, again, nothing wrong with a job if that's somebody's long-term vision. I find that most people I speak to, they have a little bit more something in here and a little bit more passion that the job is fine, but it's really not what they want to do for the rest of their life. They have something else that they really want to do. And I say, yeah, when you have that job, that's great, but have an exit plan. A lot of people don't have an exit plan. They just, take it for what it is. And back to what Sean said as well about, being financially unreasonable and really prosperous and being able to do what you want and being able to, give the money where you want to. That is something paramount for me as well. So my thing was to give back to my parents. I've recently been able to do that in the form of paying their mortgage for them. Another thing to me was to be able to travel more. And I don't mean 2 or 3 weeks that I got from holiday from work. I meant, actually travel 3-4 months a year, which is what I do now. And that's because.
Oops. What happened?
I don't know.
We're having some, definitely having technology issues today.
That shouldn't have happened.
Well, you disappeared off the screen for a bit.
Yeah, he'll come back. So at the end of the day, guys, what are you doing outside of your job to control your time and your money? What are you doing to get your family into a financially bulletproof position? Are you still struggling? Are you still thinking of just that one paycheck? Because it happens every day. People go into their jobs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, doesn't matter what day of the week it is. People are not biased to when they're going to be receiving a pink slip. You could go in tomorrow and get a pink slip. Yeah. So unless you're working to get that other source of, that other avenue, I guess you could call it, looked after for your family, what are you doing to protect your family solid? And a solid foundation is having a multiple stream of income, as Sarah said. The aliens took him away. Those are the job aliens that took him away. Does that kind of make sense, Julia?
It does make a lot of sense.
He'll come back. Don't worry.
Eek, what happened?
He'll come back. He's having some internet issues. It's all good. Don't stop talking.
I'm typing and talking.
So, I know there's a lot of viewers out there that have those jobs that they hate. They may not have that belief level that, you know what, I can do this. If this truck driver can do it by getting a mentor, why can't you? And if not now, when? And if not you, who? Are you putting yourself into a position where you can, you know, do like Kay said earlier, take care of your parents' mortgage? Do you know that most people have a house almost bought and paid for, but they have less than $100,000 saved for retirement? They have no credit card debt. They got lots of credit cards available. They owe $1,000. They make $5,000 to $7,000 a month. Scale it back $2,000 to $5,000 a month. But yet they have no plan on how to keep feeding their family once they stop working. So the average age of the person working now is well into their 70s. That to me is a crying shame. Would you not agree with that, Julia?
Totally. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I don't think I'll ever be able to totally retire because I've got way too much in here, right? in here that I want to share. But to actually go to a job every single day, it's just, yeah, it's a crying shame if people can't retire, like if they, or whatever. I mean, now people don't retire, they just switch what they're doing because it's what they enjoy doing in life, right? So, because I mean, the idea of retirement has totally changed for people as far as I can tell, and the trends show that. So, you know, do you have enough that you can live your life out the way you want to when you stop working, or you cut back, you scale back what you're doing, or change? Because I know lots of people who have retired from a job and then go, I can't handle this after 6 months, and they do something different. You know, it's just, so I mean, having that mindset of understanding that, okay, maybe you don't want to do your job for the rest of your life, but being able to switch it so that you're doing something you love and putting back into the world. Because I mean, I've heard a lot of people in their 50s, 60s say, you know, they've spent their life working. Is this all there is to life? And then they realize, I want to do something different. You know, life has been good to me. I've been really blessed. And they realize that they haven't given back in the way that they'd like to. So then they go out and they find something that really, really, really excites them. And that's fun to see that happen. I'm sure you've seen that, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why do you think, let me give you one of the government statistics. Why do you think the government of Canada and the government of the United States have pushed off getting senior benefits? It used to be 69. Then they moved it to 71. They're in the process of changing it again to 75.
Really?
They are hoping that you pass away before they have to give you $1 of your pension income for what you worked your life for, so that they don't have to give it to you, because there's so many people that the population is aging really fast, and the money inside the piggy bank is being dwindled down as fast, and we're in an economic crisis with the government's financial affairs. Now imagine that. They're not financial people, but they got the millions of dollars invested in a really bad spot, and it's not getting them any amount of interest. We are not going to see any money in my lifetime. Julia, you're lucky if you see a little drop of that money at your age. And that's crying. That's such a shame. But guess what? We're forced to put into that fund so that we can pay for the aging population. And it's...
Well, even at that level, the people that are retired now, I mean, it's just a little, I mean, it wouldn't, if they had rent to pay, that doesn't even cover it. Or I mean, I don't know how people do it. It's just and I don't know about the rest of the world, but in Canada, I know we're seeing a lot more people where the kids are moving in with the parents. Oh, is the kid going to come back? Kids are moving in with the parents, or the parents are moving in with the kids. You know, it's just, I see it so often. And it keeps booting him out, is what he said to me. He kept messaging me. But, you know, it's really sad. And actually, I don't know, Sean, if you're aware that our federal government is looking at decreasing the Canada Pension Plan again, the payouts. that's one thing that they're looking at right now, because we have that, the aging population with the baby boomers. I'm at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
And but I'm not counting on getting anything. I really, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. So I think that's the way we have to think, is that we're going to look after ourselves instead of counting on the government to look after us.
Well, and here's the thing. You know what most people say that they're going to fund their retirement with? Here's the sad part. They're going to fund their retirement with the Powerball or the Lotto 649 or the Lotto Max, and the government's going to be there to look after them. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys, but you guys need to wake the heck up. The government is not going to look after you. The government can't even look after their freaking veterans, for crying out loud. What do you mean they're going to look after you in your old age? That's why me, you watching this. If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to you. You have to say that to yourself. Nobody is going to come and give you handouts. Nobody is going to be there to just say, oh, here you go. This is why we're talking about this, guys. This is such a critical conversation. Money. No, most people don't like to talk about money, but guess what? We have to talk about money. Most people don't have enough of it in their lives. That's all they think about, is the lack of money in their lives. And they just say, I can't, I don't have any money, I don't want to do this, I don't, all this craziness. We have to stop the craziness, and we have to get more resourceful in between our two ears. Use our mindset. If you don't know, go and find somebody that does. Partner up with somebody like Julie and I have. We got a mentor. We can't do everything ourselves, but I can make a difference having a leader guide me, a mentor. Does that make sense? So I get fired up when I talk about this, guys. We have to make a difference. We must. This is a must that we do this. And Tony Robbins says it very clearly. Stop shooting all over yourself and make it a must, that you must become financially free, so that if something happens in your life, you can write a check for $1 million and do what you need to do. And maybe it might not be $1 million. It might be $1,000. Somebody's sick across the globe, like Kay has family in the UK. If he has money issues and he needs $1,000 or $2,000 to fly on the plane to go there, do you think he's not going to find a way? This is no different for us. We got to find a freaking way. Most of us have enough things that we can sell to be able to go and do that. Don't make it about the money. Make it about the why you're doing what you do. And we're going to have another conversation with Kay as he's unable to re-enter our broadcast, and that's okay. I believe that Kay has created enough value that he deserves that anyways. Would you agree with that, Julia?
Absolutely. He was telling me before we got on this morning that his week has been so busy he could hardly breathe. So I guess that's a good thing. Sean, I wanted to add one more thing. When you were talking about being afraid, like focused on the money, if you're focused on the lack of money, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use an easy example. We have an Envoy, and we love our Envoy, but it's funny because we never noticed all the Envoys on the road until we started looking at one.
They're an articular activator.
Exactly. And so once we got it, now we notice them all, right? And we've had our truck for quite a few years now. And we just absolutely love it. But it's funny because we never noticed them. It's never happened to me. If you're focused on lack of money and fearful of not having enough, you're going to get more of that in your life. So it's just something I'm going to put out there for you to be aware. What is it that you're focused on that you really don't want in your life? Because there are so many things that we do focus on. And it could be, like the next person who's going to say something nasty to you or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know what's going through your mind, but pay attention to your thoughts is what I'm saying, because it can be very detrimental because you're going to attract more of that. When Kate talked about attraction marketing, when I mentioned that, it's the same thing with attraction in your life. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever's going in here, whatever predominant things are there, that's what you're going to get more of. So why not focus on success? Why not focus on money coming in? Do those visualizations that you're going to get those things, but make it so that you can believe it. Because if you don't believe it, your subconscious goes, yeah, that's a load of crap. That's never going to happen, right? So
you have to envision it in your mind before it will happen. Even though there's a part of you that doesn't believe, most of it's got to be believe. You know what? Believe that check's coming in the mail. Believe that you can make a difference when you help other people and make it about them.
Right.
Don't make it about you. And that's what inspired me to write my book, Julia, because I was worried about money in the financial world. I got to make this sale. I got a car payment to make. I got child support to pay. I got kids to feed. I got all this craziness going on, and I was busy. Guess what happened? I too had those chargebacks because people would cancel because they sensed the blood inside me that I needed that sale so freaking bad that they ended up canceling. And nobody wins when that happens.
That's right.
If you just totally throw away the money, something sold, somebody gets paid. It's a guarantee. When you help others get what they want, you will get what you want. And Zig Ziglar talked about it for his whole entire life. When you help enough other people get what they want, you will get what you want. Stop making it about the money.
Exactly.
John Maxwell, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, all of those guys.
Keep on going.
Keep on going. And guess what? They all started from very humble beginnings. Every single one of them. They don't do it for the money. Like Bob Proctor says, I make more money than I know what to do with. I can't spend it fast as I make it. So he's made a difference, and he's been in that grandfathered inner circle of personal development. I would highly encourage you to connect with one of these people. I get connected with them. I actually spoke with Bob Proctor and Anik Singhal's coach yesterday.
Nice.
While I was at my JOB. So yes, it works. It does work when you get out of your own way. And I'm so looking forward to going to Maryland to spend 5 intimate days with Anik Singhal and his team on how I could take my business to a whole new level. I got so many things planned. It's not about me. It's about me becoming a better person so I can amplify what I do to other people and help them, which is going to be a direct reflection of the value that I provide to the world, and that will be the income that I will generate. Isn't that exciting, Julia?
That is very exciting. And on that note, because we do try and keep our broadcasts like around 30 minutes.
And on that note,
we gotta go.
43 minutes, and that's okay. We will have Kay on again. Kay, thank you so much, bro. We appreciate you. We'd love to connect with you on Facebook. We'll do this again sometime very soon.
Absolutely.
I hope, I trust, I believe that we've provided some value to others. Guys, when you change your inner roots, you will change the outer fruits. And that's all we try to do is change our inner roots so we can help yours change your outer fruits.
There we go.
Anyways, thank you so much, guys. Like, comment, and share. We'd love to have your take on things. See you on the next edition of Success with Dynamic Duo. Have a blessed week. Take care. Until next time, have a great day. Bye for now.
Check us out on YouTube.
Yes, YouTube, Facebook.
Well, yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care.